All right. In this review, again, this is a review. We're going to go over pandas. So we're using the existing pandas underscore intro.py that you had before. So, and earlier in this exercise. So we're just going to go in depth and more into this. So check this out. So again, in Python, we're using pandas, a library. Okay. It's a library. And all it is a big, huge sets of files, okay, that has instructions, it has code, and that allows us to do a little extra stuff using Python. So in this case, Panda is going to take data and put it in what's called, looks like an Excel spreadsheet, a table. So in this case, we have our columns, that's right here, name and score. And then, of course, rows, Alex, 85, Jordan, 92, Taylor, 78. And what we're doing is we're assigning this list as an array. So it's no longer in a list, or I shouldn't even call it an array. It's called a data frame. In other words, it has rows and columns, just like an Excel spreadsheet. So what we did was we took these two sets of data as one file, which is right here, data, and we basically assigned it to Pandas data frame, which treats it as an Excel spreadsheet, a table. So just to take a look what it looks like, let's print it out. So print, and all I'm going to do is print out df. Why? Because what I did was I took this and this as a parameter and assigned it to df. So all I have to do is type in print df. Now I could type the whole thing up, but I don't like typing. So print df. So I'll hit play. And then in our terminal, you'll see name, score. Those are our columns. And then our rows. Index 0, Alex, 85, Jordan, 92, Taylor, 78. Okay? So that's. Now you could add some more if you wish, but we're just going to use these three for right now. Now, if I can look at this as data, a table, well, can I just print out just the scores? Of course. So I could do print. Now, remember, I'm going into the data frame, okay? That's df, okay? But I want to just use score. So the name of my column is score. See with the quotation marks? So again, almost like an array, right? So if you remember arrays, it's square brackets. So in there, I'm going to, what am I looking for? Double quotation marks, score, okay? And close, square bracket, and parentheses. So I'm going into my data frame, I'm looking for the column score, and I want to print it out. Poof. There it is. I have this, and I have this, my score. Remember, up here, let's bring it out. Remember, we have print df, and what that does, it printed out what we have here, and then, of course, score. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm kind of, like, you probably wonder, well, I got a space here. Well, it's not going to print a space, but if you do this, now, I always tell students, if you do this, look what happens. Print a space, okay? Because we have nothing in it, okay? So that's what we have. So I just printed out the score. So if I have information here, just numbers, what can I do with it? Well, let's say print, all right? Data frame, right? That's the data frame we're in. That's this, right? Now, if I want to look at the score, again, remember, square bracket, quotation marks, score. Okay, now, it's going to print that out, but what do I also want in there? Can I do any calculation? Well, yeah, let's figure out the average, which is mean, all right? That's a program in Panda, okay? So, again, dot. Just let me do this again so everybody can see it, by the way. If you click dot, especially Visual Studio Code, because we imported pandas, you'll see options, okay? So in this case, mean, and that serves as a function, has its own program, okay? So I'm looking at my data frame, inside my data frame, and inside I'm looking for score, that's the column, and the score has numbers, and I want to figure out the average, and I'm using mean. Okay, that's the program. Hit play, it'll give me the average of the first of those three numbers. There it is, 85. Let's say I wanted to do something else. Like what? Standard deviation. Oh, let's go. Let's go with data frame. Okay, square bracket. SCRE, okay? And then dot, let's look for something that resembles standard deviation, STD. And remember, it's a function. And if I run it, it'll tell me the average change for each number. There you go. It's 7. Let me see. 90, yeah. 85 to 92, 7. 92 7. Yeah, there's the change, average change. So it's 7. That's my standard deviation. Okay. If I wanted to do something else, like how many records do I got, right? Print. I'm looking at my data frame, square bracket, double quotation marks, capital SCORE. And let's do a period, look for my options. I don't want to do the sum, but you could if you want to. I'm going to do count. I'm going to count how many records I have because that's a good thing to know. All right. And of course, there you go. Boom, hit play. And there he goes. I have 3 records. So if I added another one, right? So let's say I had a 100 and this happens to be, let's say, Robert. Okay. So, boof, I have 4 names, 4 scores. 100 is going to Robert. And if I run it, my mean, which is my average, will change. And my standard deviation will change. And of course, now I have 4 records. So again, with Panda, I can do some calculation because I could take information and put it into what's called a data frame, which is basically like an Excel spreadsheet. Now, what if I want to open an Excel spreadsheet? Well, that is another lesson. See you in the next one.